Good evening, children. How are we today? Welcome to Granny Tales. Tonight's book is called The Great Possum Creek Bushfire. It's a lovely book that's been scribbled in by Giles or by Perrin. It was given to him in 1992. It's by Dan Vallely and the pictures are by Yvonne Perrin. It was a sleepy Sunday morning, just a little after dawning, and the town of Possum Creek was calm and still. All the animals were stirring, a disaster was occurring as a flame burst forth upon a distant hill. Big Red Kangaroo on rising thought it quite surprising that the smell of smoke lay heavy on the air, for the council of the Shire had placed a total ban on fire and they'd all been warned to take the utmost care. As he ran into the clearing, the event that he'd been fearing was in fact, as he could plainly tell, for a wall of flames was burning and was very quickly turning all the bush to ashes just near Wombat's Well. That's Wombat's Well, I think. It was clear Big Red was worried, as with frantic haste he scurried to the firehouse to set off the alarm. Within seconds bells were ringing and the fire truck was bringing all the volunteers to fight for Wombat's farm. Peter Possum did the driving, and they saw upon arriving that the flames had very nearly won the day. They were licking round the stable, and the youngest wombat, Mabel, was leading all the horses far away. The fire chief was Ed Galar, who drove an extra special car, whose klaxon guaranteed to wake the dead. As he drove up, klaxon blaring, very dignified of bearing, they'd already lost the fodder storage shed. Look at it, up in flames. Ed Galar, with cool precision, made his vital first decision as he put the Dingo brothers on the pumps. Two numbats manned the hoses and demolished several roses and a beehive causing many painful lumps. Look at all the lumps from the bees. By the time their aim was better, there was nothing any wetter than the volunteers, a sorry, dripping bunch. But their spirit was unbroken. No faint-hearted words were spoken, even though they hadn't time to stop for lunch. Slowly they were winning, for the ranks of flames were thinning, and finally the house was safe at last. But the clean-up was aborted when a sharp-eyed crow reported that the flames on Possum Creek were closing fast. So with bells a-madly clanging and equipment all a-banging, they sped back to town to start the flight anew. From atop the fire station, they then gazed in consternation on the blackened fields where corn and wheat ruts grew. Tom Echidna was the mayor, ever keen to do his share, displayed to all his loyalty and grit. With a flourish brave and bold, he threw off his chain of gold and proudly marched away to do his bit. As the ring of flames came closer, Billy Platypus the grocer shouted, "Men, although the water's running low because of next week's picnic races, I've bought 50 dozen cases of the finest lemonade, as you all know." And a vigorously shaken, unless I'm much mistaken, as extinguishers they really fit the bill. And so with scant decorum, they raced back to Billy's storeroom that lay behind the old abandoned mill. They stood bottles at the ready as the fire chief said, "Steady." With courage rare they made their final stand, and though the blaze approached them and very nearly poached them, the bushland heroes kept it well in hand. By the time they'd finished, the flames were quite diminished, and relief was plain on every face in town. 12 hours they had fought it, and as sure as I report it, with exhaustion every creature then fell down. Now, if you ever spend a week down there with friends at Possum Creek, the locusts will be happy to relate how as the flames were leaping higher, they bravely soda-popped the fire and in the end just beat it by a crate. Hope you enjoyed that little one tonight, boys and girls. Bye.